Looking to catch up on the latest Star Wars books? Try listening to them on audio, featuring sound effects and music directly from the movies. Star Wars audiobooks are the definitive listening experience. From brand new audiobooks such as Galaxy's Edge, Black Spire, and Star Wars Myths and Fables, to our blockbuster movie tie-in editions, you'll have plenty to keep you entertained. Start listening wherever audiobooks are sold.
This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
This is James Arnold Taylor, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi. I have a good feeling about this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coffee with Kenobi, show number 301. We are your spoiler-free place for Star Wars discussion, analysis, and rhetoric. I'm your host, Dan Z, drinking actually tea out of my One Nation coffee mug because, as you can hear, I have a bit of laryngitis, but that is not going to stop me from talking about the premiere of the final ever trailer for a Skywalker movie, The Rise of Skywalker. I'm here joined by your favorite co-hosts. Let's bring in Cory Clubb and Tom Gross. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going? Bummer, you're not feeling very good. That's
right. I know. I actually feel fine. I don't sound fine, but you know, you can't not turn on the microphone for something like this. We got to talk about The Rise of Skywalker. I watched the trailer. Let's all talk about how we watched the trailer first before we have kind of our top five. Well, Cory, why don't you go first?
You want me to go first? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I told my kids that it would be on a little after 9, you know, and usually I watch it first, and I, you know, come up with my phones they're usually in bed by then, and I thought, I'll just show on my phone. I thought, no, this time I'm going to do it differently because I can plan a little bit, and I'm going to just, you know, wait till 9 o'clock. And if you have kids, you know, you put them to bed and they're still awake. So I went upstairs about 9 when I saw it drop. And I said, all right, guys, let's come on downstairs. I grabbed the boys. I peeked in the girls' room and they were asleep. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just, you know, show them tomorrow or whatever. And so we get settled down in my office in the basement floor here. And then all of a sudden, there's like pitter patter of feet above us. And I was like, oh, okay, somebody got up. So Ashton came down and we dimmed the lights down and made the screen, my full screen view on my computer, and watched the trailer. And we all cheered at the end.
Oh, right. Wow. I can just picture that happening. Tom, what about you?
That's cool. Well, I believe I probably was driving home from picking the girls up from gymnastics when the trailer dropped, because I got several texts right in a row. So when we got home, we got the girls some dinner, and I went upstairs, grabbed the iPad, and I said, girls, let's sit on the couch and watch the trailer. So we cuddled up on the couch and watched it and oohed and ahed. And I said, you want to watch it again? And my 8-year-old says, I'm good. I think I've seen enough.
Not like it is. That's all. Wow.
And so Kaylee and I
finished.
Yeah, Kaylee and I watched it again, and we did. I'm not going to lie. I try not to do this, but I did a little stopping and rewinding and starting and pausing and, hey, I recognize that. Hey, what was that? You know, we did a little bit of that. So good stuff.
I love it. Hey, that the whole family thing is great. See, for me, Mason was already asleep because it was past his bedtime, but I recorded Monday Night Football just so he and I could watch it tomorrow. And I think I'm going to pretend like it's the first time it airs so we can share in the excitement together, because I knew he wouldn't want to miss this.
Sure.
But, you know, bedtime is pretty important when you have kids, as we all know. So I got ready. I turned my phone on airplane mode so that when people were texting me and all my notifications were going off, that I wouldn't notice them because I didn't want to be distracted. Mm-hmm. Made sure the dog was already out, you know, so she couldn't ring the bell saying it was time to go outside and go to the bathroom. I had to get all my ducks in a row because I didn't want to be interrupted last time I watched this thing. So I sat on my couch in the basement, turned on the surround sound. We got a 70-inch TV. We are ready to roll. And it hit. And we'll talk, of course, in plenty about the details. But while I was watching this, my ears were legitimately tingly, and I had this incredible adrenaline feeling. I thought, this is the end. This is the end. I'm never going to have this kind of feeling again for this kind of a thing. And I just pushed that out of my mind because I just wanted to drink and everything that happened. And when it was over, I just thought, I got to talk to the guys. So Here we are. We're going to record. We try to do sort of a top 5, and not in any particular order, just kind of 5 things that stand out for us about this trailer. And I've got them in my brain. I haven't written them down yet, but I'm going to see where the conversation goes. So, Cory, let's start with you. What's the first thing that stands out for you for the Rise of Skywalker final trailer?
Yeah, so for me, I really like that voiceover there in the beginning. I think it was Poe that was talking, and we see Rey. She runs through the jungle there, and then she jumps across the ravine, and then the scene kind of flips to her. I think she's on some kind of inside of a ship or something like that, and she lands and heads onto the side. I thought it was really cool imagery. I thought it was really cool transition. It totally caught my eye. It totally reminded me that she is full of power, and she definitely has those we'll call like the parkour skills, I guess we saw in The Force Awakens, kind of her skill to navigate between different obstacles and whatnot. So it was cool to see her in action again.
I agree. Just to build off of that, there's so many times, so many images of Rey in this trailer in my eyes that I was like, I feel like she's trained. I feel like she's still training. When she's running and she's got the blast helmet on that she drops at the beginning, and those training droids or drones or whatever are following her. There's so many places I'm like, I don't know. I felt like this. Well, I don't want to say too much, but I felt like this trailer took me to the beginning and to the end all at once. And she's climbing that scene that you mentioned where she's climbing, she jumps over the ravine, but then they pop her into some sort of ship or something. I was like, man, reminiscent of the beginning.
Force Awakens. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm sorry, Dan, you probably wanted to say something about Cory's observation.
No, all I wanted to say was that when I was watching it the first time, when Rey runs off from off camera and makes that step, I jumped.
Yeah,
it was very quiet.
Yeah,
it was kind of fun. Tom, what's your top one that you noticed first? Not top, but the first one.
Yeah, my first one is, and I always bring this up when we talk about trailers. So why not on the final one? Dan, you're talking about like sitting down. This is the final. This is it. This is episode 9. This is the end of the Skywalkers. So the thing that really always gives me that like internal sense of finality is the score. And when the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker comes on at the very end of the trailer, I keep thinking, this score cannot have any more finality to it, and then just those final chords, those final fanfare notes at the conclusion. I'm afraid if I was sitting by myself watching that for the first time, I might have had some tears come to my eyes. But I had my kids with me, and we were excited, and so it didn't. But that, I don't know. Do you ever feel that way? In fact, on so many of the trailers, I think how can John Williams top himself with that like final blast of the chords of Star Wars, and this one topped them all, and it just it's so powerful. It gives me goosebumps.
It was. It's always interesting when you see the music for these trailers because you don't know if it's something where they've remastered old things, if someone else did some of the arrangements for it. I don't know. I look forward to finding out more about that.
Yeah,
I agree. So my first one, I was a little surprised when I saw this because, of course, for years we've talked about, gosh, do we want to watch the trailer? Do we not want to watch the trailer?
Yeah.
Because I've said many times in the Last Jedi trailer, which I love, it gives a pretty big reveal where Kylo Ren is about to blast the Lattes with his mother right there.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a major point of drama and tension in the movie. Then the trailer gave it away. But at the time I said, well, I'm not going to watch any more trailers. But then I find out this is coming out, and I can't not watch it. I can't not talk about it and watch it. People have been asking us about it for months. So I watched it, and I felt two things at the same time. One, nothing happened. We got the final trailer, and we don't really know anything about the plot of the movie. We know that Rey has some internal conflict. We already knew that. We know that she and Kylo Ren have a very muddy, unusual, unorthodox relationship between the two of them. And we got some of that, but we didn't learn anything. And at first I was like, oh, come on. I finally convinced myself to watch this and you haven't given me anything. But then I flipped the page and I thought, no, this is brilliant. This is exactly what I want. Just like an Endgame, I don't know anything. I had some amazing visuals, which I'll talk about soon. But it was restrained. I mean, it's not going to go down in the pantheon of greatest Star Wars trailers ever. That's still the Phantom Menace trailer. But it was, I'm just in awe of the fact that it didn't really tell us very much at all. And to be honest, the second time I watched it, I liked that even more. The first time I was like, gosh, am I underwhelmed? Or is it just how I am the first time I always see something brand new Star Wars? And it was that, of course. The second time I'm like, yeah, this is great. I don't really know anything, and I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, Dan, I think that's a perfect way to put it. I think I felt similar to that in the fact that, like, okay, this is it. I guess I'm expecting something to kind of like shock me or go, oh, really? What's this? You know, I didn't get that. But what I did get, and this is my second thing, is moments. I got moments of, you mentioned this, Tom, too. Like, this is the last Star Wars trailer we'll get for Star Wars Skywalker film that we know about. That these moments are going to come up. These characters we've lived with forever are going to grace the screen one more time. And the one that stood out to me was C-3PO, that his line of one last look at my friends, or look, something like, I can't get it right, but I want to take one last look at my friends one last time, or something like that. And that just, oh man, isn't that so true for us as viewers? Looking at our friends one more time, you know, is this, you know, what's their adventure going to be this time? And he put it so plainly and so eloquently, obviously. But it's so true. These moments are going to come up through this film, and we're going to realize, oh gosh, this is the last time we see this person, or this is great to see them again in a new way, but also for the last time. It's crazy to think about that, you know. And that's what the trailer kind of did for me, is kind of help me that transition. It's gonna be like losing part of, you know, a fandom in a sense. Like it's going to evolve and change, and you know, gonna be people gonna deal with it a certain way. And I think this trailer is just kind of the first taste of what we're going to be feeling coming out of that movie theater.
Well, it's kind of unusual too. That, I mean, I would love to talk to the person who cut this trailer and put it together.
I'm sure it was J.J. Abrams. I'm sure.
Very possible. But yeah, when that happened, it was about midway through. Mm-hmm. Everything kind of paused and slowed down, and yeah, 3PO was taking a last look at his friends, which is obviously very meta.
Very meta,
the audience,
because they've always been the kind of the viewers in a sense, right? Him and R2, they've kind of been the ones that have kind of been I guess I don't want to say it. I don't know how to say it. You can represent it better than I can. They're kind of the fans,
if you will, from their point of view.
Yeah, something like that. So we're all seeing it from their point of view in a sense too, you know. So it's interesting to see that come to light here. Yeah,
and at first I was like, gosh, why the pacing of this is not ideal? Why are they slowing down the action? Then I realized they're just kind of putting their hands up, saying, "Okay, everybody breathe.
Yeah,
this is serious." And then it also looks like they're giving 3PO like some legitimate character moments too, which is nice.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Yeah, and especially I feeling like the last two films 3PO's been in but hasn't been in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the fact that he may have, at least apparently, he's going to have something to say, and maybe we'll actually get to hear what he really wants to say. Maybe that was it. Let's see.
Your second one.
Pardon? Oh yeah, my second one. I want to talk about one of the voiceovers, and I don't really have much to say about it other than it made me really, and I was so wrapped up in the visuals that I didn't catch the voiceovers the first time through. So the second viewing, I was really listening to the words that they were saying and telling us, and this one really stood out to me, and it is the Emperor's line, where he says, "Long have I waited, and now your coming together is your undoing." And all I could think was when he's in the throne room with Luke and they're challenging one another and saying, your overconfidence is your weakness, your faith in your friends is yours. And that for some reason that came back to me, and I have no idea what it means, but I thought that was such a powerful statement, because when we leave The Last Jedi, the goal is to bring the resistance together, to pull all the resources, to pull every single contact and pull it together, and hear the Emperor saying, I had planned that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back to that one.
Same.
My second one is also a voiceover. I think I caught it the first time, but I know I caught it the second time. I think the voiceovers go, I think it's Finn, and then Poe, and then Luke, and then Leia. I think that, and then of course the Emperor's in there, and there's no doubt about when his voice is. But my second one could easily be the first, and I don't have the exact line yet, but undoubtedly it'll be something that's part of my daily quotes for the rest of my life, is facing your fear is the destiny of a Jedi. Yeah. I love that so much. I talk about that all the time with my students, with my children. Just this notion of we are our own worst enemies. And when we get out of our own way and embrace our fear and don't let it conquer us, then we've really come to something really important, really powerful, reached our full potential. And it looks like a lot of this movie is going to be about Rey's internal struggle to do just that. And it very much carries over the message in The Last Jedi. The fear of failure, is something we should embrace, because it's okay to mess up. It's okay to make mistakes. And whatever Rey's fear is, part of her fear we saw in The Last Jedi is that she's not good enough, or that she's not enough because of the mystery of who her parents are. And the fact that they're going to encourage this and give us those moments, I thought was wonderful. That stuck out to me, quite honestly, more than anything. And that was cascading through my mind as I watched the trailer all 3 times that I watched it.
Yeah, this thing is. Now I'm thinking about this. This trailer is bigger than that. We're talking about this, and it's bigger than I think it is. Like we said, it's not as telling as we'd like it to be, but I think it's bigger than we think. If you go back and watch it now, maybe a 4th time, I'm sure I will. It's so interesting to think about this and talk about these quotes, because you guys are bringing up things that, like, I heard him say that, but I didn't really think about that, or it didn't soak in. And I think it's because we just get so wrapped up in it. And I know I felt that was the same way when we went to Celebration. And I know Tom and I sat on the floor of the presentation area, watching the trailer for the first time on our phones, just trying to get a glimpse of something. And that then was the newest thing, was the Emperor's Laugh. I did that trailer, and coming into this trailer, I was like, I need some more Emperor. I need to kind of know what's going on. I need some answers, which we always say that. I think that's my third thing. I'm going to go with the Emperor. We see a short glimpse of him. We obviously hear him talk. We see, I think it's his back or something like that. But he's very present again in this trailer. I think that's another great aspect of this and Star Wars, and bringing it back around to these motifs of the evils is triumphing once again, and it has to be taken down in a sense. The Emperor is always been the mysterious force. I know for me as a fan that has always been like, who is this old guy? What does he have to do with anything? But he's obviously more powerful than we ever believed he would be. So for him to see a return again, even in this trailer, is great. I think it's exciting. It's mysterious, very mysterious. What's happening? What's going on along the way here? So there's something that we're gonna find out, I think, in this whole film, that's gonna really blow our minds and really kind of make us go, wow, this is interesting. And this just kind of cements it for me, the mysteriousness of the Emperor showing up again. But I think I'm going to go back to one more thing. Is, like you said, Dan, we didn't get much answers out of this, and I was okay with that. Like, I wanted more Emperor, but this was just enough to whet my appetite a little even further. Now, I don't feel like I've seen, like I tell my friends at work, I haven't seen that much. I want to make sure I don't want to overdo it and try to digest everything and break everything down, because I'm so surprised. I want to have some fun. And this was a good trailer with the Emperor's appearance there, just kind of really nicely playing up that idea.
I will say that I'm not watching the trailer anymore.
Oh,
Nope, I'm done. I've seen it
You're
3
done?
times.
okay.
Third time, I already started to feel not as like, oh, and I don't want to lose that feeling.
Dig into it. Yeah.
I'm done.
Okay.
Tom, you want to say anything about what Cory just said before you give your next one?
Oh my goodness, that's like saying there's a box of Hostess Ho-Hos up in the closet, and I've had 3 of them. I am not having another one.
That's right.
Impossible.
Once I make my mind up, it's done, baby.
Impossible. For me, anyway. You know what? Okay, both of you said it now, and I completely agree with you. And that is this didn't tell us much, but it did confirm for me one thing that I don't know how you could have a movie without this, but it confirms for me, and this is going to lead to my third point, and that is they're successful. The Resistance, the 12 people sitting on the Falcon at the end of The Last Jedi, they're successful in raising a force. And again, I don't know why I would have ever thought that they wouldn't be successful, but this confirms that, hey, they found a fleet, they got friends, and that kind of thing. So what I wanted to talk about, and I'm just going to bring it up, it's the Easter eggs. I was looking for them. I was hoping to find some things, and I found I think exactly what you want. So if you will hear me in talking about the Easter eggs, I don't know I don't even know if I'm using that term right. The things that I thought were cool that were snuck in that are from the past.
Sure.
And so
That's
the first is the Corvette at the opening of episode 4, A New Hope, flies over your head with the Star Destroyer blowing up behind it. How about the Corvette flying above our head, scraping the top of the forest? Was that powerful or what? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, definitely.
And I just thought, oh my gosh, another Corvette flying over my head in episode 9. How awesome is that? And then the scene where the Falcon is dipping down in front of an entire ragtag fleet. Did you see the ghost?
Yes, I'm going to talk about that pretty soon.
Okay, so the ghost is sitting off to the right, and our right on the screen, and right behind it, Kaylee nailed this one. If it's what I think it is, I'm pretty sure behind the ghost is, if it's not, it's a ship that is just like the Colossus from Resistance.
No way.
Oh.
It's a triangular up and down ship.
Oh my gosh! I hope that's true.
See, good thing you're not going to watch it anymore, because now
I know.
Yeah.
for the next 2 months.
Well, I was getting a lot of stills from this. So I'll have to look at that.
I mean, I was just inspecting that entire fleet to see what is there, like who's left, and Kaylee goes, "Dad, the Colossus," and I said, "What?"
Oh man!
And she pointed, and by God, it looks. I mean, if it's not, it looks like the Colossus, and it's right behind the ghost. If you're looking at it still.
Well, okay. So, Lucasfilm sent me a bunch of pictures. I'm going to look.
Oh, did they? Okay, good.
That's why you're talking.
So anyway, I was looking for that kind of stuff, and and so in those space battles, most of those Star Destroyers, there was some speculation. In one of those Star Destroyer shots from, was it I forget what's the middle trailer called, where they had flashback to all the other movies, and then they finally get to, there's a name for that one.
The D23 one.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, the sizzle.
That's it. There was a shot of the Star Destroyers, and everyone was speculating that those were not First Order Star Destroyers and that they were Imperial Star Destroyers. Not taking anything away from that speculation, because it is what it is. But I looked really closely at the side shot where they have space battles in this one, and I'm pretty sure, at least in this trailer, that's a fleet of First Order Star Destroyers.
All right, I got the picture right here.
Do you see it?
Ooh.
I see. I think I see what you're talking about. I'll send it to you, or I'll tweet it so everybody can look at it and see what they think.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think that, how cool would that be? They're out there, and they support the Resistance. And so we don't know what the conclusion of season 2 will be. In fact, will the season 2 of Resistance be over? It won't be over by the time this releases, right?
I don't know that we know.
Yeah, I don't know how many episodes they said, but anyway, that was my number 3.
That's a really good one, and you taught me something I didn't know. Okay, I had to cough, so I pushed the mute button.
Got it.
My next one is how visual this thing is. One of the things that JJ's good at is making a film look beautiful. I mean, look through the filmography of everything that he's done. Mission Impossible, The Force Awakens, all kinds of stuff that he's done throughout his illustrious career. And it's like a gorgeous painting, all these images, all these stills. And there are Easter eggs here, undoubtedly. And I'll talk about that later as well. I know people are going to be excited about Kylo Ren with wet hair strolling through this thunderstorm. I mean, there's a lot of symbolism in that. So that's going to be fun. I think that the throne, the Emperor's throne, I'm assuming that's his, was pretty cool. And I saw this on Twitter too, some of the visual effects guys. But it also kind of struck something in my memory, and I checked my making of Return of the Jedi, and sure enough, that the Emperor throne, Imperial throne of the Emperor, is just like the concept art for the throne of the Emperors on the second Death Star in Return of the Jedi. And I think it's cool that they're reusing things like that. And if they hold serve, I'm not going to ruin, the mission statement here, but if they hold serve with some of the things that Lucas had planned for Return of the Jedi, that kind of lines up with what we hear at the end. Boy, are we in for an incredible treat. That's all I'm going to say. Come back to me on December 20th, then I'll tell you more about it.
You have thoughts, apparently. More to think about, huh?
Yes.
I like it. Moving on. The next thing I'm going to go with is that sticks out in my head from this trailer is there's a scene, and it's kind of montage is going through. We see Kylo Ren and his mask and everything, and Rey, and they're both swinging down their lightsabers and they're smashing some structure. I don't know what it is. It's an interesting moment, knowing kind of their history, what we've seen in The Last Jedi, and from what I understand, from what I get from The Last Jedi, Kylo Ren is Mr. Bad. He is like full bad, full dark, just gonna blast everybody and everything. And to see this moment happen is interesting to me. It's very interesting. You mentioned, Dan, that Kylo Ren and Rey have a very interesting, not so, I don't want to say natural connection, but there's something there that's different. And this is just a weird and odd scene for me to see this play out, and it raises questions for me. What are they doing? What's happening in the scenes? They're smashing this structure. I have some thoughts of what it is, but I'm not going to speculate. But it's interesting for me to see. I think it's just them working together. We also see them battling on top of the raining planet. The raining ship there with the storm going on. So there's still conflict, right? So there's still conflict that's going on. And I just want to know what the relationship's going to land on, what's going to happen, in this film. And it's interesting to see all these things go by that are good and bad, and just like the struggle in the chaos that's just going on in this film. It's kind of beautiful. I mean, in a sense that it's seeing this happen. But for me, that was the next thing that kind of sticks out in my head.
That's a good one. You made me think of about 3 other things. Oh, man.
Yeah, I feel like that. Every scene with the two of them just makes me more confused, quite frankly, because you see them in that physical conflict. You see them in that appears to be that they've made whatever that dark shape is, that they hit it together in some sort of a collaborative effort. And so I'm thoroughly confused as to what we're going to see there. And so the conflict that's good. I like the way that has set that up. Let's see. Now I'm just going off my memory here. I guess one thing that I've always enjoyed about Star Wars movies, and this one is this trailer and the others have just continued to reinforce that, are the multiple settings. And Dan, you alluded to this earlier, but so they seem to be in this movie, especially, I suppose, no, not necessarily just this movie, but they seem to be so symbolic. And so as I'm running through my memory of the trailer, I guess in addition to the other trailers that we've seen, we go from a desert planet, which we typically know what that means in a Star Wars film. But then it opens up in a natural setting with the ravine, and then we end up in a destroyed mechanical setting that she jumps into, that Cory, you led off the show with. And then it seems like every time we hit something that deals with the Emperor, I really feel like I'm in some sort of a wasteland, whether it's a dreamlike wasteland or just flat out a wasteland of some sort. But we know the importance of each one of these in a Star Wars movie. The nature and the Jedi, and then the mechanical and the contrived of the Sith or the dark side. But one thing I really liked that the one setting that I haven't mentioned that I saved for last is the raging ocean. And we see I don't know if it's a final conflict but we see conflict between light and dark there with Rey and Kylo Ren in this raging ocean. And it just, I don't know what to make of it. And I'm again, we're not speculating. So I just find that to be really interesting. It's a beautiful setting for their conflict. And so I just wonder, with the nature and the raging of it, what that means for the Force.
So while you're talking about that and making me think about things in different ways, Scott Mendelson of Forbes magazine just tweeted out that according to Adam Tickets, the ticket sales in the first hour of the Rise of Skywalker has sold more than any movie in the company's history, including Endgame.
Really?
Yeah. Now this is just Adam Tickets. There are a lot of, there's Fandango still. There's a lot of other places that do this. And of course, we'll have an affiliate link so you can buy your tickets to the Rise of Skywalker and help out Coffee with Kenobi too. I mean, we can't forget that now, can we? Really?
Not at all.
But that's very encouraging stuff. And the cool thing, Tom, about all those different environments you're talking about, while it certainly looks like Yavin or Hoth or something like that, I have a feeling that they aren't.
Right.
It'll be new stuff, undoubtedly. Tell you what, let's go ahead and take a break because we haven't even scratched the surface of the Rise of Skywalker. This is Coffee with Kenobi.
This is Vanessa Marshall, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi.
Looking to catch up on the latest Star Wars books? Try listening to them on audio, featuring sound effects, top-notch narrators, and music directly from the movies. Star Wars audiobooks are the definitive listening experience. From Luke Skywalker to Kylo Ren to Admiral Akbar, you'll recognize all of your favorite characters. Listen to brand new stories in the Star Wars universe like Thrawn Treason by Timothy Zahn. Can't make it to Galaxy's Edge this year? Just listen to Galaxy's Edge Black Spire by Delilah S. Dawson and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge A Crash of Fate by Zoraida Cordova. With Star Wars audiobooks, you'll have plenty of Star Wars listening to keep you entertained. Available wherever audiobooks are sold. Speaking of Galaxy's Edge, I want to recommend for you MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Their signature service and expert advice will help clients maximize their vacation time and dollar. Their no-cost, no-obligation quote when you use the service is totally amazing. It's helped me a lot. And they also proactively adjust a booking if the rate goes down. So they're going to save you some money as well. So they're going to save you money, and they're going to help your family enjoy everything Galaxy's Edge and the Disney theme parks and the cruise lines have to offer. Seriously, they're going to plan every detail for you, will help you all along the way, and can share invaluable tips. Be sure to go to our affiliate link, which can be found in the show notes on the front of our webpage or on our Twitter feed, and sign up for a free, no-obligation quote. You'll have the best vacation possible and help out Coffee with Kenobi in the process. Speaking of helping out Coffee with Kenobi in the process, I want to bring in Tom for this because we need to talk about our CWK Patreon show. Yeah. CWK Prover and our CWK amazing Patreon contributors. So let's give them a special shout out. I'm talking about Jason Hall, Dennis Keithley, David Nicely, Jeff Ellis, Colby Mead, Yancey Evans, Ross Halliban, Frank Mulder, Alexander Moylan, Melinda Wolf, Aaron Harris, Chris Skavarka, Angela Sauce, Alex Procaccio, Tim Van Swole, Ian Thompson, Rebecca Raven, Simbot Defjadarian, Christine Turk, Sean Reed, Kurt McKellen, Dan Ream, Brian Harding, Blake Weaver, Jim Capron, Caroline Maselli, Chris Metz, LJ Souter, Thea Selby, Daz Davies, Christian Dale, Brian McKinney, Jared Cantor, BJ Smith, Eric Struthers, Nick Deco, and Mark Suter. Tom, I mean, that's an incredible amount of support. And it's amazing because they do so much for our show. As Cory said on a recent CWK prover, they help keep the hyperdrive running in the Coffee with Kenobi studios. And they are right. We are allowed to get much more coaxium because of their generosity. But your contributions also, as we said, give you access to our weekly show. Comes out every Sunday, CWK Pour-Over. And again, thanks to each and every one of you. Because of that, you get access to CWK Pour-Over, CWK Lens, which is some videos and pictures and behind-the-scenes stuff. And, of course, there's T-shirts, coffee mugs, and so much more. Perhaps most importantly, however, 10% of your monthly donations are donated directly to the St. Jude Children's Hospital. If you have any questions, go to www.patreon.com/coffeewithkenobi and sign up today, or reach out to me, Dan Z, at coffeewithkenobi.com. And I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you so much.
We are back talking about the final trailer for the Skywalker saga, The Rise of Skywalker. And I know, Tom, you and I, for show 300, had kind of a moment where it really sort of hit us. And I had that in my mind the entire time while I was watching this one. And how much I couldn't wait to share it with my family and friends, because it just means so much to us. And I think that's why I liked all the Easter eggs that you talked about. I just tweeted out an image at the time of this recording of all those ships that you talked about, so feel free to check those out and see if you notice anything. But we got a lot of stuff. I will lament a little bit that earlier in the day, there was a 15-second preview, and a number of people took an image of the Falcon and what looked like the ghost below it. And I saw that already. I would have liked to have waited until I saw the trailer, to not have that part spoiled for me. But quite honestly, that's fair. I mean, everybody is excited. They screen capture and they put those up there. I know better. I should have stayed offline. In fact, I texted you guys and said, I'm going to go cold and I'm going dark until I actually watch this thing, which is why I put my phone on airplane mode. But seeing the ghost there and potentially the Colossus and all the other images and vehicles behind the Falcon is very inspiring and exciting. It's going to make the Return of the Jedi look very micro, apparently, compared to what we're about to witness. Remember that when that scene blew us away the first time we saw it, especially the trailer for Jedi. And now we've got it in a whole new way. I mentioned the Emperor's Throne. Did you notice when C-3PO was talking, when they first have a close-up of him, over his left shoulder is a battle droid, a deactivated battle droid.
Is that right?
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Which is really cool. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff like that in the background there as well. It all ties into the visuals. I'm sure there are a number of other Easter eggs. I was wondering what that helmet was that Rey drops at the beginning. And first I thought it was an X-Wing pilot helmet, but now that I look at it, it almost looks like one of the helmets for the Rebel Commandos on Endor. Of course, the odds are good. It's probably neither of those things. I'm not sure. Even the images I have don't really show that as well. But man, it's just a visual feat. And it really, if you listen to this thing on surround sound, the soundtrack on this thing, besides the music, the effects, I mean, it's just gorgeous. It's a piece of art.
So speaking of pieces of art, my last and final one is something just that I just captured with my eyes. The whole thing looked fabulous. I mean, like you mentioned, Dan, the visuals are just stunning. The planets, the locations, the characters are all unique. I love the fact that we get a mix of people riding horses, but flying ships, and all our characters are back. It seems like it's just this is just going to be the film that really, I think, hits hard for us and really makes us cement as fans in general for this franchise. I think overall they've done a good job of keeping things feeling like Star Wars. The visuals are very much bright colored with the dark motifs, the light motifs, the shadows, the play on just which character you're looking at. Well, you mentioned Kylo Ren walking out of the ship under the water and all wet, but that's just shows his heaviness of what he's carrying with him. He's drenched he's just soaked. That just shows me that like he is just soaked to the bone with darkness, maybe in his heart. And that's just another visual cue that just is done so beautifully in Star Wars. But I want to pick up on one more thing we haven't even mentioned at all. Maybe you guys can stop me if you don't want to talk about this, but they also released the latest Star Wars Rise of Skywalker poster.
Oh, I was going to say that for the end. Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to with that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess going off the visuals, this is to me the best looking poster I've seen of the three most recent films. So it's absolutely stunning. And I think coming off the trailer, and then I went online, finally, I kind of released myself to go online and look at things. I came across the poster, and that was just such a nice comparison piece. It really captures the framing of this trailer and where this movie is going, and what these characters are going to be headed for. So I think all in all, this is going to be an exciting film. I think we're going to be very astounded by what's going to happen in the characters. And I'm almost like a loss for words now that we've talked about this. I feel like it's just going to be something that we're going to be really shocked with. I think something that we're really going to, I don't know what to say, like just basically come out of those theater feeling such a feeling of such great joy. I think in the essence of just the film itself, I think there's going to be a lot of joy with this movie. You mentioned the music and the rise kind of coming out of that, and these moments happening. There's a lot of joy in this trailer. I think that there's these characters bracing. We hear Leia's voice last at the end. That's just such a great homage to her, Carrie Fisher as a character in this series, and just all around. I think they're going to just really give us the treat we're waiting for.
Tom, what is your last one?
Yeah, Cory, you kind of.
I rambled.
I should just piggyback off of you, because I was going to do a final impression. But so you both have mentioned how Carrie Fisher has the last. Where is it? Does Luke say, "May the Force be with you," and then Leia says, "Always"?
That's right.
Is that what I heard? Okay.
I thought it was Luke says something like, "The Force will always be with you," and she says, "Forever."
No, the Force. She says, "Always."
Oh, always. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So I don't know. We've talked so many times about, and Cory, you mentioned earlier about, this is it. Like it's the end of the story. And I've talked about on I know Pour Over, and maybe here on Coffee with Kenobi as well, that when I'm reading a book and I'm so invested in the characters and the story and everything that goes with it, like I delay finishing it, because I don't want to close the back of the book and be done and have that like loss of connection to the characters. And this trailer, it's so epic, and it's so, I don't know, I found myself losing the faces of the people as I was watching this, because I was so wrapped up in the action and the music and the settings. And I found myself, except for, as Dan, you mentioned, they slowed it down for the 3PO moment. That's the only time I really feel like I saw the faces of these characters that we love. Some from the very beginning, some from halfway through the story, and some of them are brand new. And I hope that when I watch this movie, that I do take time, and you'll have to remind me of this in 2 months I want to make sure that I'm seeing the characters, and that I'm seeing the faces, and I don't get wrapped up in the action and the special effects and the soundtrack and all of that, because what I will be disappointed in is when that final, those credits start going, and we all sit back in our seats, and we've all been there. We've been done this many times, and we go, "Wow, what did I just experience?" I hope that when I'm done with that, it's not what? Like, who did I just see? Like, you know what does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
I guess when I close the book, I hope that they all stay with me.
No, I know.
I like that. That's a great way to put it, Tom.
We're making we're just like checking boxes in our brains when we see this thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my last one is the use of the Emperor in this. The only time we see him is very, very much aside from the back. All you see is a black cloak. It's very muted. You really can't tell what's going on. You can't see his face. And behind him, it almost looks like he's got some sort of an apparatus that's holding him up, kind of like Silence of the Lambs. But I kind of doubt that he's restrained. I mean, maybe if he's, physically injured, if this is the actual Emperor from the end of Return of the Jedi, maybe this is how he's able to rise and to stare at Rey. Of course, he's literally above her because that's what the Emperor would do, because he definitely thinks he's better than everyone else.
He has the high ground.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's right. And so he's staring down like that, and I'm looking at the markings in the snow. I guess it's snow of her looking up at him. That's all we get. And we get that ominous quote that we talked about earlier about you two came together. So, of course, we're thinking, well, who are the two that he's talking about? Is it Rey and Kylo? Is it Rey and someone else? It's hard to say. So that is interesting. That kind of sticks out in your mind. And you know what I really, really love about this? Zero Dark Rey. We don't even know if that's her name.
Yeah.
Thing.
I forgot about that, actually.
And I'm so happy about that. I mean, I wish they kind of saved that and didn't put it in the D23 Expo trailer, although obviously it created a lot of buzz and fun for us for a while. But it's not in there, which means we've got so many surprises waiting for us. Again, hats off to JJ. And at first, like I said, I was a little conflicted. And I'm like, come on, you haven't given me anything. I still got to wait 2 months. But now I'm like, wait, I get to wait 2 months and I still don't know anything. It's kind of unprecedented in trailers. Besides Endgame, you can't really think of too many trailers over the past 10 years that didn't pretty much give you the whole plot of the movie or some of the best jokes or some hints of the action sequences. But it kind of has an epic Return of the Jedi feel, kicked up a notch. And I applaud it. I think it is staggering. And I'm sure even after we stop recording tonight and we think about it a little bit more and read what other people have thought and listen to our CWK family members and what they have to say, my goodness, we're going to have plenty to talk about. And again, we don't know anything.
Huh. I love that. I love it that way. It's my favorite part.
Me too. So you guys are both going to watch it again? Is that what I'm hearing?
I might watch it one more time just to cue up what we've talked about tonight, and just to, say I did it one more time, I guess, because I know there's certain things I don't want to, like you said, Dan, I want to overdo it, but also I want to take in things that maybe I missed along the way, but I think that'll be maybe one more time for me.
Well, I guess to be fair, I will watch it one more time when I show it to Mason.
Oh, there you go.
That's for sure. I mean, I have to do that.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't think I'll just watch it randomly for the sake of watching it. I think I'll let it simmer. And as things come to my mind, I may go back to it. I've done that from time to time with the original and the that trailer from D23.
The other one.
And there'll be times I'm like, what was that happened? And I just have to go back and just rewatch it for that purpose. So, but yeah, I agree. You can overdo it, and so we do have to be careful of that. So.
Mindful. We have to practice Jedi mindfulness.
Yes,
indeed.
So overall, 10 being the best thing that ever happened to Star Wars, 1 being no thanks. What kind of number grade? Not letter grade, but what number 1 to 10 do you give this?
Oh boy, that's tough.
It is tough.
Do you letter grade or number grade?
A number. 1 through 10.
Number grade. Yeah, you said letter grade, but boy, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go an 8.
Okay. Care to expand on why?
Yeah, I mean, you said 10 being the greatest, and I mean, I've seen other better Star Wars trailers. You mentioned Phantom Menace, and I think back to Phantom Menace, and I did like Phantom Menace a lot. I remember rewatching that a lot as a kid, and that was kind of like when the internet was kind of just taking off, and when you could watch videos over and over again and pause them, and I remember that opening scene with Darth Maul is kind of shown, and I just remember freaking out, going, "What in the world?" And just because, again, it's just that hypes you up, and I like The Force Awakens a lot. Because it kind of reignited that same feeling. But for this, I mean, it was a great trailer. I think it was I'm even grading it higher because we didn't get a lot out of it. I like it that way. I'm okay with that. So it still teased us. It still got us excited, got us talking about new things, and definitely piqued my interest. But I've seen better. So I'm going to keep it there at an 8.
All right, Tom?
Probably a 2. That's what I'm thinking.
Uh-huh.
No, that's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy talk. In all seriousness, see, I was shooting for a 9. I don't know that I could top. I don't know. The trailer for Force Awakens just captured my imagination and gave us so much new. And so maybe it's situational instead of the trailer itself. But so I'm going to put it in that realm because this trailer has so much in it for us to think about, for us to see. I'd probably give it a 10, except for that last moment that I just mentioned where the trailer was over and I kind of thought, was Kylo Ren in that? There were so many things that I feel like I missed because it was so full of just greatness, but I lost the characters in it. So yeah, right. Wonderful. A 9 is like spectacular.
I'm going to go in the middle. I'm going to give it 8.5. I think I would have given it higher. I think the C-3PO moment was beautiful and poignant, but it kind of interrupted the rhythm of this. I think it would have been more effective if we got the title card, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, and then close it out with that C-3PO moment. I think that would have been more emotionally impactful, and would have kept the breakneck pace of all these quick visuals. How about, by the way, speaking of visuals, how about that Star Destroyer rising out of the water too?
Oh, that was cool. Yeah,
we haven't even talked about that. Or it looked like some sort of those skiffs that they had on Scarif, not on Scarif.
Oh yeah,
but on Crate. It was definitely a different looking one, but we're similar in design.
Or how about that planet that was like an ice planet the TIE fighters were flying into? It was like upside down, kind of.
Yeah, like a
visual. That was really cool.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if it was a reflection, if it's sitting on like an icy planet, and that's like I don't know. It looked like a reflection to me, but then I went back and I thought, were TIE fighters flying in that half of it or not? So that's the kind of thing I'll go back and watch eventually.
Oh yeah, and that, I mean, gosh, these images of Rey and Kylo smashing that unusual black statue, I guess, or earlier. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but so many head scratching things. Before we close this out, though, let's talk about the poster. All right,
yeah,
what you got?
Wow, I love this poster. I love it so much. I saw it come up on Twitter when Star Wars posted it, and I'm looking at it right now. It is really cool looking. Reminds me of the Force Awakens poster of is it Force Awakens? Yeah, when Rey's holding is she holding that? I don't know. I'll have to go back and look at it now. It reminds me of the other. So there's a similar poster of her holding the lightsaber that way, kind of. And she's kind of dividing the picture. She kind of had this thing going on, but she's very confident looking. And it's always, I feel like she is just totally like growing and maturing through her skills and her character. But then we got all a bunch of other characters going on here. There's some action going on down below, and it's very cool looking. It's just really, the blues and the reds are nice. My favorite part I think about, though, they've got this white border around the whole thing, and that just really looks good. I think that really looks sharp. They could have gone all black on that and really pushed everything back and made it really feel dark, but I think the white border gives us some hope surrounding everything. I think that's what I would have played on. I like the idea of surrounding everything in like this white goodness, if you will. I think that's a cool way to put it. There's a lot going on this poster. I think I'd love to find a copy of it somewhere and have it hanging up in my office.
Oh, I can't agree with you more. This is definitely a poster that I want to get my hands on. I don't have a lot of the movie posters, but this one is so cool. So first, number one, it's beautiful. Number two, it is so upsetting to me.
Why?
There are bad things in the blue and good things in the red. Number two, Rey's neck is surrounded by lightsabers. That is so disturbing to me.
Oh, like Anakin in Revenge of the Sith.
Yes, thank you. So like that. There's good and bad and good in this. Is and when I say upsetting, I don't mean. I just mean like visually. I'm upset that there's Star Destroyers on the blue side, and that there's an X-wing over on the red side. But okay. So one other thing that I think is really cool, and you're gonna have to help me with the name. Is it Zori Bliss who's got the two pistols?
I believe so.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. That's like Boba Fett in Empire Strikes Back right there. She looks so cool standing there with those two pistols sticking straight out. And then of course at the top, splitting the middle is our favorite character, the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Love that. I love that.
Really? I can't talk as much. That's smart thinking on your part.
Yeah,
you're welcome. But no, I think this is magnificent. And Cory, I really appreciate your comments about the white border. I there was something about this poster, and I wasn't sure what it is or what it was. But now that you say that, I love that. How the border just encapsulates it all into like a memory book.
Well, it's like the original Star Wars poster is what it is. Like the B.
Yeah, it definitely has like
it's exactly what it looks like. Yep, the white border, and it emphasizes it. This is another one of those. Is this like how do you describe the style of this? It's all. It's not Photoshop, but what is it? Photorealistic, or how do you describe it?
Yeah, photorealistic. They're photos. They're using photos. So, it's all still images they're posing for.
As much as I think it's cool and breathtaking, because it is, it's just another hodgepodge of sequences. It doesn't really tell a story. For the third Skywalker film in a row, I like the teaser poster better than the final one.
So you like the one with the Emperor's face? That one?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
With Rey and Kylo on that precipice.
Yeah.
That we got D23. And by the way,
in the poster, there too.
Yeah, it is on the bottom. But there's no Emperor in this poster.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And no Leia.
Oh, yeah, that's a little disappointing.
Yeah, I just realized that there's no Leia.
That might be by design, though. Who knows?
She's the Millennium Falcon for sure. She's flying it. Spoiler alert.
That very well could be.
Thank you.
Well, guys,
tickets away.
That's right. Speaking of tickets, we all got our tickets for December 19th at 6 o'clock at the Peoria Riverfront Museum. So we're very, very excited about that. More to come on that very, very soon. But in the meantime, gentlemen, anything you want to add to our conversation of this trailer before we wrap up?
I have one more thing to add, and we mentioned this kind of just going into this trailer and just kind of going dark. We've always talked about this going dark thing. I'm going dark. I'm not going to try and get on social media. So I know people will break this trailer down a million times over and find things that I may don't want to see, but particularly want to. But I'm going to try and go as quiet as I can, and just this is it. This is the moment I'm going to pick. I've seen enough. Like I said, I'll probably watch it one more time here. And that's going to be it for me. I'm excited to see the movie. We've got our tickets. I'm ready to sit down in the theater and watch. I'm ready to go.
Wow. All right. Can I bring up just a light and fun piece of this trailer that
go for it.
My daughter and I we just kind of laughed and chuckled and just enjoyed and rewound and watched it again. In the Force Awakens trailer, when we were introduced to BB-8, he was just cruising along. Do you remember that scene? He's just bumping along and going.
Oh, yeah.
So in this one, I don't know if you noticed when they're riding the horses, Did you see BB-8 was in the foreground? Just, flying, going right along with them, and just we just found that to be, I don't know, amusing, and it just made us laugh. It made us smile.
No, I agree.
I did not notice that.
He was on his horse, as they say.
He was. They might have been trotting, but man, his little ball was just a spin.
Pretty cool. Really, really cool. No, I can't think of anything else to add other than I'm just looking forward to seeing how I feel in 24 hours and 48 hours in a week, in a month.
Yeah.
When I'm sitting in the theater and what's going to stick with me. Can't wait to see what my kids think about it and what they bring to the table, because there's a lot of great stuff to discuss. It's always great, and we can't do a thing like this without having the 18 months. So, Cory, let everybody know they can reach out to you and ask you questions about what you thought about this movie. Or trailer, I should say. Not movie. Not yet.
Yeah, let me know what you guys think on Twitter. I'll try to respond if I'm not staying away. Going dark, on Twitter at Cory Clubb. Or if you want to send me a secretive email and tell me what you think about your favorite part of this trailer, we'd love to hear it. Email me, CoryC@coffeewithkenobi.com.
And what about you, Mr. Gross?
Yes, on Twitter, at Draftline, DRAFTLINE. Or send me an email with your thoughts or questions. If you ask me a question, I don't know if I'll be able to give you a firm answer, but I would be happy to discuss with you. You could drop me that email, tomg@coffeewithkenobi.com.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
There's no one here. Move along. Move along.
Looking to catch up on the latest Star Wars books? Try listening to them on audio, featuring sound effects and music directly from the movies. Star Wars audiobooks are the definitive listening experience. From brand new audiobooks such as Galaxy's Edge, Black Spire, and Star Wars Myths and Fables, to our blockbuster movie tie-in editions, you'll have plenty to keep you entertained. Start listening wherever audiobooks are sold.